Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Master of Punk's Tamer Sages, the king of the ring himself. It's your boy Thicky Smalls, Gerard Michaels in the house. Well done. Handled well.
That was beautiful.
Hey,
Big G.
it's another great Friday here at Gas Digital. It's your boy Thicky Smalls, the funniest man you never heard of, Gerard Michaels. And across the table from me to my left, at 6'3", 200 pounds, and every one of them is a problem, the CEO of the RNC, the Master of Punks, the Tamer of Sages, the King of the Ring himself, Pretty Mickey Gall. How are you, Mickey?
Doing fantastic. Doing even better now.
Why are you doing so good?
Dude, we have two amazing guests.
Two amazing guests. The studio has never looked this good.
Nah, for
We've
real.
never.
This is quite an upgrade.
This is an
Gas
up-
Digital. We really class this
We-
joint up.
I tell
when
you.
you know what I mean? Our,
This is-
yeah,
Yeah,
our
we saw
guys
the
do bring this
last
place
guest,
up.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, but that guy can. Yeah. Yeah. We normally have a lot of like killers in here. And like
Yeah.
we've had thieves, we've had bank robbers, we've had assassins, we've had. And now we have Neighborhood Logic.
Neighborhood Logic. Well, she's a killer. I've seen her
Well,
clips. I've seen her
Well,
clips
this is what I was
on,
going to say. And now we have the deadliest guests we've had yet.
That's
Two
right.
beauties from the Bronx. You
Hey.
never know what they're hiding. We have Tara Cannistraci,
Wonderful.
a comedienne extraordinaire.
Yeah.
And we have Kathrine Narducci, who needs no introduction, from The Sopranos.
Sopranos, Bronx Tale, Godfather of Harlem, The Irishman.
Mm-hmm.
Need I say more?
You're in Gravesend too, correct?
No.
No.
Oh,
Misinformation.
all right. There we are.
lying.
There we are.
No.
I'm putting it out there in the universe. Now, Tara, you have opened for some of my favorite people. Vic
Who are your
DiBenedetto.
favorite?
I love now.
Vic DiBenedetto.
Yeah,
and
Di
everybody, nobody can say that name.
DiBenedetto, yeah.
Worse than mine.
My mother's favorite video on the internet ever.
Bread and milk?
I gotta get the Brooklyn. You gotta get the bread and milk.
Everybody
Mm-hmm.
loves bread and milk, but there was one of those videos like you post, and he even said to me, he goes, I almost took it down.
Really?
He said, I almost took it down because I was like, what is this? Meanwhile, it went crazy.
Changed his whole life.
Changed his whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one video. Mhm.
Yeah. As somebody who puts out stuff on the internet, that's like every time I put it out, I'm like milk and bread, milk and bread, milk and
Yeah.
bread. You know, every time
You're
I
hoping for that.
That's
yeah.
great.
300 likes. Not
Ship up.
I love when you think it's gold. When you think it's gold, I'm like, this is it. This is great.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, nowhere. And then I do the stupidest thing, and it's like, oh.
Absolutely. Or even worse, when you're part of a production that spends like tens of thousands of dollars to make this video and it gets nothing, and you do a video of like meh, 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 on your phone and it blows up, and you're like, oh wow, production's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Production's dumb. But also, cast me. But production's dumb. Crazy stuff. How are you enjoying being part of a podcast now? You guys have a podcast together with big friend of the program, Chaz Palminteri. Now is Neighborhood Logic, sorry, is that its own standalone, or are you guys doing it with Chaz?
No,
or
it's part of the Chaz Palminteri
it's
Show
part
podcast.
of the Chaz Palminteri Show. It's really, really, really funny. The Neighborhood Logic bit. Now, is this something that you guys pitched to him? You guys were just hanging out? How did that come about?
He asked us.
I forgot how it started.
We had each did the podcast separately. I had went on, you had went on.
And then were we at his house? Were we having dinner and the conversation came up and he said, do you want to do one? Or how did we do it? Did we actually go there?
I think we talked about it over dinner one night, and then we just started filming it.
That's weird. I don't remember.
What's
how we
the origin
started
of your
it.
guys' friendship? Were you guys friends before that, or was that like
Yeah,
the first?
Obviously she knew Chaz for years, 30 years now with the Bronx Tale. And then I met Chaz maybe 6 or 7 years. He actually came to see me perform. He heard I was Italian from the Bronx doing stand-up, and he came to see me, and him and I connected then. And then I met Kathrine in Canada, even though we both lived
shit.
in the Bronx.
Wow.
At the
Yeah, but we
time.
met. I knew her from her.
No, you didn't know me then. We only
No,
knew
but
of each other. And then in Canada was the first time I met
What are
Yeah.
you guys doing in Canada?
I was doing a Soprano signing, and she was doing stand-up at that signing,
Well,
at
yuck,
that
yuck,
event.
So the event was with Vinny Pastore, and she was doing a signing with Vinny,
And Johnny
and I was
a
doing a
couple.
show with Vinny.
Wow.
So So it just
Worlds
and
collide.
that I met her, and then she ends up extending her trip one day just to see our show,
Right.
and then we connected then.
Yeah.
Aw. It's
sweet.
Canada. Aw.
Are you a big Sopranos fan?
I watched the series at live, like during when it was out.
I know you're probably gonna hate
I
it.
wasn't
but
a
we're
rerun.
such Sopranos fans.
Yeah, I keep looking around for Artie Bucco. I'm like,
I also think that G wore that shirt because you paid him quite a compliment, saying that he reminded you of a young James Gandolfini.
Oh.
So I feel like he wore that today, hoping we like.
Oh, you know, I
go
see
back
it
into
now that
again.
you said it. The young James Gandolfini.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's the talent. Really, it just it comes
Just
through.
exudes through
It
you.
just
Yeah.
it's really what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that shirt. I think it was. Do you have another one like that with 2 stripes going down on each side, or no?
No, but if you want me to buy one, I will.
No. Actually, I do.
People say all the time I have the makings of a varsity athlete, so that's
That's
it's
a
big-
joke
it's a
from
big
The
Sopranos
Sopranos. I don't know if you if you watched your work.
Isn't it so
but-
funny? Like we were talking, we just had Ethan Suplee on the show too, and he was like, "This is my job." Like
Yeah.
like this is. We're like, "Dude, what was it like?" He was like, "It was work. It was cool."
Yeah.
Like you've been doing this for, like you said, 30 years now, right?
Yeah.
Was The Bronx Tale your first major motion picture?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It was. I was like I said last week on the podcast we dropped today. It was the first thing I did of anything, and
really.
yeah.
You just walked on and you got
Yeah.
the gig. Did you always want to be an actress?
Yes, and I was a closet case actress. I was going on auditions. I wasn't telling my family, and I went on that audition, and you know what happened. I
Wow.
got the role, but it's a long, great story. But I'm not telling it today.
Why not?
Oh, it's so drawn out.
Hey, don't hold out on us.
Come on, we got nothing but time.
I'll make it real short. I took my son for the role of C. It was an open call for Little C.
Yep, of course.
And my son was that age at the time. And I was the closet case actress. So when I got there, my son went in. I thought I would get to meet Robert De Niro. I didn't know how the business worked. I didn't know nothing. I thought if I got, they said Robert De Niro was looking for a 7 or 8 year old son, however old the kid was. I forgot. And I thought, oh, Robert De Niro's looking. Let me take my son, and then I could meet Robert De Niro. Yeah. And then when we got there, my son came out, and then they started seeing the mother, and a couple of the girls had gotten there, and they looked like me, walk like me, and talk like me. And I was like, shit, what are they here for? I didn't know it was for De Niro's wife. And then when my son came out, I asked the casting director, why are they here? And they said, for the mother. I didn't know De Niro's wife still.
I'm a
and
mother.
I said, I could do that. Yeah, I'm a mother. And she said, well, it's for SAG actresses today. If we don't find the actress today, we're going to open it to non-SAG tomorrow. Call me in the morning. And I did. I called, and she said, yeah, come down. We didn't get the girl. And then I went back, and I auditioned for her, and then
You made a video about the bread and the milk, and you became
bread and milk. And then that was it. 2 days later, I got a call, and she said, Bob saw your tape. He wants you to come down for a callback. Who's Bob?
Wow.
I did not even, I swear, I was really dumb and young. And I went down there and met with Chaz and Bob, and I went back, like, Chaz will tell you, like 8 or 9 times.
Wow.
Yeah. I kept, it was like a pyramid, and I just kept getting higher and higher and higher until I got it. There
must
was
have
like
been
so many
nerve-wracking.
people.
You gotta act like you don't want it,
but
but
how
like
surreal must that have been?
It was amazing. It was very surreal, and it was such a good feeling, and it was wonderful.
Have your son ever look at you from across the dinner table at like Thanksgiving? Like,
Yeah.
it was supposed to be my role.
Yeah. No, he didn't even know.
What happened here,
He
Ma?
was so young, he didn't even think about it. He didn't even care. He didn't even want to go. I was like, want to meet Robert De Niro? He didn't care. He wasn't
wanna go to
pursuing
Barney.
if he was pursuing an acting career and he was a little older and something like that happened, that might have happened. But he was
Sure.
so young, he didn't even know what he was
Did
doing.
he ever audition after that?
No.
For nothing? So
No.
really, it was your gateway.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, think about it that way. He never
Crazy.
auditioned after that.
Crazy. You could tell Tara's really, really good podcaster. She just jumped right in the hosting
Sorry.
role. No, I love it. No,
I had the question because I realized I
great.
know all
Jump
these
in.
years and I never
Jump
asked
in.
that.
Yeah, we stole it from their podcast. Great. Now it's our content. What about you, Tara? You get into acting at all?
I did a lot of sketch comedy,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of theater when I wanted to start.
How'd you
Comedy.
get into comedy?
I always wanted to do comedy, and I never had the balls. You know what it takes.
Uh-huh.
And
I would rather fight people that have to stand on
Yeah.
stage and make people laugh, and them just standing there being like, "Go ahead, make me laugh," and
Yeah,
I'm just
it's-
like, that's
yeah,
terrible.
when my first few shows, I would be like, "This is insane!" Like I'm gonna get up on stage with the intent to make people laugh simultaneously at the same time, strangers, by what I said. Like that used to bug me out, but I always wanted to do it, and I like suppressed it for a really long time, and it started bothering me. And then I was in a sketch comedy play, like out in the city, and we ran for like a month. And the producer goes, "Oh, you always want to do comedy? Why don't you warm up the crowd every night?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then like he had to push me on stage those first few shows. I was like, "No." And then I got the bug. You know, you get that first laugh,
Totally.
and you're like, "This is amazing.
gotta be
I'm
quite a
hilarious, right?" And then you struggle for the next decade.
Yeah.
But
That's got to be
That's
some
all.
juice, like a rush. Like once you get them,
once you
kinda-
hear that laugh, it's really, it triggers something in you. If you've always wanted to do it, for me, getting that first laugh was like, that validation, that good, that, that luck you need in the beginning. You need that beginner's luck, or
Totally.
you will never do it again.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Did
just
you ever get booed?
Never got booed.
You ever
I
get
mean,
heckled?
I'm pretty good with hecklers because I'm pretty quick.
I've seen you light
yeah.
up some hecklers on
Yeah,
your Instagram.
hecklers
Yeah.
never were really. I never had a lot of them, never a big issue. I've had people not respond the way I wanted them to. Yeah, but not
hecklers
booed.
are not nearly the thing a lot of people
Yeah.
think they are. What people think is heckling is normally just a drunk table having conversation and like stealing focus. And, you just got to kind of corral them a little bit. If there's an actual heckler like trying to come at you, that should be like a once in a decade type thing. The fact that there's so many, and I'm going to get on my soapbox now, the fact that there's so many comedians out there making a career on these TikToks about comedian X owns heckler. And it's like, bro, you got a heckler every week. That's saying something about your comedy, bro. Like you're not making.
I thought you were gonna say it's like a setup.
One,
Like,
it
make
could
it
be
be
a
a
set.
Yeah.
It could be. It also could be. Don't put that past anybody. The other thing is like, all right, this is pause for self-reflection. Why am I getting heckled every week here?
Right.
What's going on with my set? You're not making the point you think you're making, bro. That and the fuckboy comedy I can't stand.
What's a fuckboy comedy?
It's a whole new thing where it's like they just look over their shoulder with a pouty face and they do crowd work, but the crowd work is really just them flirting with girls. And then 200 million views on TikTok.
No.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, what do you think you're attractive enough to keep eating those fries? No, I'm just kidding, but I'm not. Oh, but I'm kidding. 10 million views. I'm like,
Who's
this is
doing that?
crazy.
Call him out. Let's start beef right
Yeah,
now.
Matt Rife. 100%. I'll say his name. Matt Rife.
Matt Wright.
Matt Rife.
Oh shit!
Matt Rife.
You
the fuck?
guys just got
Somebody
pulled
under
into
the
a gang
table?
I don't
war
give a shit.
with Matt Wright.
Hey, God bless him. It works. Guy's got, 10 million followers? Comes from Florida. But what material? And I'm not talking about, I'm not George fucking Carlin here, but what the fuck?
I've never seen.
Look over show. Oh, girl, stop it, please. Black guy, am I right? High five. He likes me too. Like, oh my God, tell a fucking joke, just one time. Just one premise, setup, punchline, tag.
I didn't realize when
one
I just
fucking
started.
time.
I didn't think he was gonna say anything.
Anyway,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, I think a lot of comedians try and post
You're the
crowd work.
instigator.
Oh yeah, I'm the instigator for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of I post a
I'm a
lot of
TPM.
crowd work, but I post it because sometimes I have an album coming out and I want any of my jokes out, so my album's out, and then maybe I'll
Very
post
old
the
school.
jokes.
That's the very
Yeah.
old school way. That's the, don't
Yeah.
burn your material.
Yeah.
Now, it's almost like you got to plant your
You have
flag
to.
that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
your material.
Right.
Because God
Because
forbid.
people, everybody's taking
Oh, for
everybody.
sure.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite comedians?
My all-time favorite's Colin Quinn.
Okay,
Great
yeah,
answer. Great answer.
My all-time and not that I ever would emulate or try and be like him, but when I was really, really young into comedy and just starting, I would go see him. Just because, well, first of all, the New York accent, which I tend to carry too, he has very strong, but he's very smart, and I felt that I had smart comedy, even if it wasn't anything on the realm of Colin Quinn. And I used to go watch him a lot.
Don't comedians often kind of emulate or almost like impersonate another
In the
comedian
beginning, they say you do.
and then they find their own voice.
You find your own voice.
kinda,
A lot of
and they
people
become-
talk about that. I said
Yeah.
on Joey Diaz's podcast, we spoke about that. How we would like look. My first exposure to it, really, to any type of comedy was Carol Burnett and Lucille Ball.
yeah,
As
yeah.
far as women,
Yep.
because I would see that on TV, even though it wasn't stand up, it was the physicality of them. It was knowing there was a punchline somewhere. There
Sure.
was,
Well, Carol
so-
Burnett's a phenomenal. I mean, she's a
yeah,
genius. I
yeah.
mean,
So for
Yeah,
me,
she's a genius.
genius.
that
What
was
about
like
Joan Rivers?
Yeah, I mean, I
Also
love Joan, but
phenomenal.
my initial, I'm saying, my initial was really the Carol Burnett, Lucille Ball, like early, because I'm Johnny Carson. I used to watch the Johnny Carson show as a kid. Like I always was drawn to comedy.
Johnny Carson's my love.
Yeah. So, and she was on that, Joan, but I was always
Yeah.
drawn to that as a kid.
Well, did you ever see the Dean Martin roasts and all that
Oh,
stuff?
my
How
God.
much fun?
Don Rickles.
Don
Genius.
Rickles. Don
yeah.
Rickles. So
Love Rickles.
yes, Don.
Have you
I
been
mean,
to the
Can
National?
you imagine Rickles today?
Yeah, why?
Oh, he'd be canceled.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Rickles in this
Yeah.
environment? But you know what? He wouldn't care, I don't
Yo,
think.
he'd be canceled.
But I think they could try.
Did you ever go to the National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York?
No. I'm
No,
not
I mean, it's not like you go to Jamestown, New York for anything.
No.
It's Lucille Ball's hometown, but
Is
I
that
was
right?
there. I was doing
Am I
shows up
kicking
north,
you?
and I
It's
went.
okay.
They have all the roasts. You can watch all the old school. You can go through this museum. They pass around drinks. I hung out 4 hours
No
there,
way.
and I could have went longer.
I'm going to tell you about
can
this
watch
thing
all
called
the old
YouTube
roasts.
that it's going to blow your mind. You can anywhere you go.
I'm just saying.
Anywhere you
no,
want,
I know,
you can watch anything.
I know, but I'm just saying there, it's like epic. Like you get to see them on this
Sure.
like big, huge screen, and I just
Yeah.
figured as a comic, if you performed in like Buffalo, usually if I perform in Buffalo, I drive an hour and I'll go to the museum.
It's hard for me to watch comedy. It really is. It's hard for me to enjoy it really
The roast?
anymore. It's just hard to enjoy it
You're
because
saying comedy in general?
yeah, because I'm not looking at it from the perspective of like
It's like analytical.
No, it's
Correct.
a museum. It's
Correct.
a museum.
Yeah.
It's like you see Dangerfield's notes, Carlin's records. Like they have every like artifact in there.
I didn't even
for
know
a
that
comic.
exists.
Yeah,
Is the Comedy Hall of Fame? Is there a
it's
Comedy Hall of
National
Fame?
Comedy Center.
Now I need to
called,
figure out how I
in
can get into the
Jamestown.
comedy
What are
Hall
you
of Fame.
talking about? You can't watch old comedy? You're talking about reference. What she's saying, or you're talking about now comedics now? You can't watch them.
I can't watch comics now. That's
Yeah,
a
I
great
knew
point.
that's-
The older guys,
You can watch.
I watch like I'll watch Bob Hope and like
Yeah.
I feel like I learn from, but just like in general, I don't watch comedy anymore from a perspective of like just sit down, relax, and enjoy this. I'm looking at it from a very analytical perspective. I'm looking at it from let me watch their pantomimes, let me see their stage activity, let me see.
And there's
got
got
to
to be fear that you're going to be influenced in some way, like that they would like kind of give you an idea for a joke, but that they're doing or something like that.
You know what the worst than that is you wrote a joke and you think, man, this is brilliant. I'm a freaking genius. This is gonna crush. And then you watch and you're like, oh my God, Patrice O'Neill did this 15 years ago. Oof. Ah,
If you
man.
want to see G get real mad, I just sent Jorge Matt Rife short to play in the Zoom chat. If you want to see G get really, really mad.
Go for it. Can they watch it?
What can we watch?
What's that?
Well produced.
There we go. Jorge.
Is this the good-looking guy?
Hey, Jorge, we're recording, right?
Me? What is it?
It's a Build-A-Bear.
You got me a Build-A-Bear? Why?
It's a voice message too in it.
As a voice message?
From your show where you said if someone got you a Build-A-Bear.
Oh my God. So I did a TikTok one time where the girl in the audience was saying it was a red flag that a guy brought her a Build-A-Bear on a first date. And I had said in the video, I was like, I would love if somebody brought me a Build-A-Bear. So you brought me one?
Yeah.
I gotta do more jokes about getting my dick sucked. I really gotta...
Not bad.
Man, what am I doing with all this cute shit? Oh, God. Thanks, I guess.
Omri.
This is so sweet. Thank you. Oh, your numbers are on here. Am I still happy?
I thought that was funny.
We can use them for cleanup. Can I take him out of here?
Yeah.
This is so cute.
Omri, you sent a video of him killing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
was actually good.
That's the
That
best.
was really
That was
great
actually
crowd
the
work.
best
actually.
video. That's the best video of
solid.
Matt Rife I've ever seen. Are you kidding?
I'm a Matt Rife
Great.
fucking fan, dude.
Holy
I'm a
shit.
fan now.
Yeah,
That's the
it.
way to do
Let's go,
it.
man.
That's
right?
it.
That backfired.
Yeah. You know what?
a total
Now
backfire.
I can already see it. I can already see the comments going, Gerard just doesn't like it because he doesn't have to.
hating.
Yeah, he can't. Gerard's got to lose the weight to fucking do fuckboy comedy. I can see it. I can.
He just got another 1 million followers. Thanks.
Yeah.
God damn it,
You're
Omri.
welcome, Matt Rife.
Yeah. Fuck it. You know who I hate? Omri. That's who I hate. What? That's the
real
one
quick,
you pick
time
up?
out, guys. Time out. Jorge, we recording? All right, we're good. We're good.
It's 50-50. It's 50-50 at best.
I just had to make sure. Yeah.
So now you did the Bronx Tale. You beat out the pyramid of women. You're in scenes as the wife of Robert De Niro. All right, everything's changing overnight. Next thing you know, you're a full-blown actress. What came next for you? You got an agent. You wanted to. Did you have what was next? You still had a family, right? You were still.
Yeah. Well, I was a single mom, so I was. It didn't. Nothing changed overnight, because first of all, when you film a movie, it takes another year for it to come out. So I went right back to. I was working at the Hunts Point Terminal Market, and then I quit and became a waitress so that I could become an actor, so that I didn't have to be at a 9-to-5 job, and I became a waitress. I keep kicking you.
It's all right.
Shit.
Let's see. We need to organize our legs better down here. I think I'll slide over a little bit.
Okay.
There you go.
And so.
We're playing footsie over
yeah,
here. No big
Yeah,
deal. No
we're
big
playing
deal.
footsie.
No big deal. Playing footsie with Charmaine Booker. No big deal.
No big deal.
No biggie.
No biggie. Poor
No
Artie.
biggie.
Poor Artie.
So nothing changed overnight. And also, it took a long time. I did get an agent from it. And that helped me change things after the movie came out. Once the movie came out, I remained waiting tables. And the only time I quit my job as a waitress, and I could say I was a full-time actor, is when I landed Sopranos.
Really?
Because then that was, 7 years. And I made pretty good living, so I didn't need to wait tables.
What was the process with Sopranos?
Sopranos?
Which, by the way, we think is the greatest show ever made. We think it's
It was rated number 1. It was rated number 1.
by Slick and Thick, which is all that matters.
No. But I think there was a huge poll last year that said out of all the television shows,
Yeah, they called us.
and it was Sopranos was
They were
number
like,
one.
who do you guys think is
should
the
be.
best?
Right.
We said Sopranos. Everybody else.
They said that guy who doesn't do crowd work in his videos will know.
Yeah, that guy. I'm a crowd work guy too. That's what's fun. I don't like the Omri. You picked the wrong video, man. Anyway,
He's pissed right now.
I
He's
know,
not
bro.
showing it.
No, you see
I
it.
promised you seeing G Matt. I didn't say how. But I
Yeah,
promised
you're
you,
right. You're
Matt
right.
G.
You're right. You did say that.
Does Omri work with you all the time, or just here today?
Omri's not here. Omri is a former Mossad agent who's doing comedy across somewhere in Utah. That's what he says. He says he's like sleeping in a van and doing comedy.
Jorge
but
isn't the one talking.
Oh,
Jorge. Omri's is our producer. He's over the
Okay,
interwebs.
so
I
wait, who
think-
actually got that video up? Who?
Omri.
Omri.
Who you can hear in your
Yeah,
headset.
that one was on me.
Yep.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Is this going to be a thing now? You guys are just going to drop Matt Rife videos on
Every
me?
time.
randomly?
Oh my
Yeah.
God! I'm gonna
I'm a
tag
big
you in
fan.
them.
I'm
I'm
gonna-
tagging
I
you in
gotta
all the good
follow 'em.
ones.
Every podcast you got to drop them for 5 seconds.
Oh man. You know.
Yeah, right. Should we rename this the Matt Rife fan club?
Oh.
Enough! We're making him sick.
Oh.
You know what? I thought he sucked too.
Hell yeah.
Narducci on your
We don't
side,
want to hear you
buddy.
about you
There
getting
go.
your dick.
Yeah. Right.
Whatever. No, I'm kidding. He was cute. In fact, I got an extra bear at home for him.
Oh man!
So that I never quit my job to get back to it really quick, and until I got The Sopranos. Oh, the process. The process was Kathy Moriarty, who at the time we were very extremely close, and Kathy called me up and she said, "Narducci, I went in for the show, The Sopranos, and I'm testing for." She was had been testing for it. She was going to do a screen test with Jimmy. She goes, and I think you should go in for it. And I thought it was like everybody else about singer. I was like, I don't sing. And she's like, no, it's a really good script. David Chase wrote it. And I just called my agent. I said, Kathy Moriarty gave me a heads up on a show. And they got me the audition. And I auditioned for Edie Falco's part.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Shit.
And then they call me back, and I forgot if I read for Charmaine, but I don't know if I auditioned for Charmaine. I think I just got it offered after I did the Edie Falco thing. I don't think I auditioned for Charmaine.
So one of the very few critiques, I guess, of The Sopranos then, and it's happening more now as this society, woke, whatever you want to call it, looks back in a retrospective, and they say the big problem with The Sopranos is in the female characters. David Chase wrote them to either be a nag or a whore. Every character is either a nag or a whore.
Who said this?
Some internet idiot, I think it was Huffington Post, if I can remember it.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was the, that's the critique looking back.
But every guy's a piece of shit too.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like
I don't know if
everyone's
that's
flawed.
true.
Everybody's
Yeah.
flawed. I mean, you're right, not a piece of shit, but like I said, I think like we one time talked about if you could pick out like a good guy. Gerard asked me, is there a good guy on Sopranos? And I would say Bobby Bacala was a pretty good guy. Yes,
a murderer.
Yes, he's a killer. Yeah, yes, he's he killed one guy, just one.
Oh my God, you get a pass.
You get a pass.
Just one. Hey, everybody gets one.
I think Tony was the best guy on the show. The best guy.
Really?
Dude, my dad. That's what my dad.
Why-
Tony
thinks,
was
too.
the best guy, and the show was genius because of Lorraine Bracco and Tony, and because of everybody else. But to me, Lorraine Bracco and Tony are what made the show different. Because if it wasn't for Lorraine Bracco and Tony's sessions to tell the world his problems, and now you see a three-dimensional character. You
Sure.
realize it all comes from his childhood and his mother and father, and he's a victim of circumstance and a victim of his community and what they did and how they grew up, and he had no choice. You start understanding him through these therapy sessions, and that's where you fall in love with him, in the therapy sessions, not really with everybody else. You fall in love with him in that room because you start to understand him and you start to have sympathy for him. You start to understand where it all comes from. That show was very, very, very deep, the psychology.
Yeah,
for
And
sure.
To me, I think he was the most kindest, loyal. He was the loyal, kind, trying to please everybody, trying to wear 50 different hats, be a father, be a husband, be a son, be a loyal friend. He was always juggling. And then
But he robbed and he murdered.
He
Right.
robbed
And he cheated.
murdered,
And he cheated. Significantly.
But you kind of understood. You kind of understood it. And that's why he was likable.
So I
was likable.
always found, obviously you root for Tony. Tony's he's the best. But I found his rationale in the therapist's office as like he was like almost like sociopathic. Like he was justifying things. He was acting. He was like, oh, I'm this sad clown.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's doing a bunch of bad shit. Like and especially in one of the last seasons where he's taking the asbestos and it's having it dumped in a lake.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he's poisoning his
Whole
the world,
community.
the whole
Right.
the everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's quick to looking at the neighborhood. I think he's very contradictory. Like he's looking at the neighborhood like this is the 5th ward, blah blah blah.
Yep.
And then quickly like, yeah, sell the egg place. Yeah, make it a Jamba Juice. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like that's why I stick with I thought Bobby was the best guy in the show. Like I thought, he didn't cheat. He was loyal to his woman. He he was gentle. He was like a nice guy.
Big teddy bear.
A big teddy bear. Yeah, I found him to be the
But he
most
only
redeemable.
killed one person.
Just
Only
one.
one.
Just
Everybody
one.
gets
and
one.
and Tony made him do that because
Tony made him.
he was pissed at him for beating him up.
Yep.
Yeah. He made him kill that guy.
I feel like there were times you wanted to see Tony be Tony, like when Lorraine Bracco got raped.
Oh yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Everybody, like I remember being so disappointed that, like, if it's real life, that she didn't tell him.
Yeah.
Because you
I know.
wanted to see, because you felt like he would have protected, like that was the part of him that if he killed that guy, you'd have been like, oh my God,
But
he's our hero.
It upheld her
It would have
integrity.
put him up so
right.
high, but it held her integrity as a licensed
Yes.
No doubt about it.
counselor. But
Yeah.
you could tell.
It fortified
yeah.
her, like, her integrity, her
Yeah.
stand-upness.
David Chase had to take a lot of real life input into his writing and into the writer's room, because I remember in the conversation I had on the PBD podcast with Sammy Gravano, he was talking about, people in Queens love John Gotti, love John. They would come up and he'd bring the ice cream truck around for the kids, and people would be like, very, very, there would be like a gratitude towards Gotti, and then Gravano would be like rolling his eyes, going, "This guy sells heroin to your kids. Like, what are you talking? Like, why? Because he brings around ice cream once in a while. He throws a fair. He's a good guy. Like, this guy's destroying countless families in this block." And then that was his thing. And been like, man, the opinions of these people don't matter. These people are nuts.
Yeah, it's like the drug cartel leaders. Like some of them, oh my God, they give back to their community. Meanwhile, they're murdering everybody, feeding, the glorification of guys like that in power.
No doubt about it. And I think that there's something to be said, like, for all of us in our society, we really gravitate towards the powerful. And no matter whether or not we might like hand wring about how they became powerful, but at the end of the day, there's like a respect. There's like he made his own rules, did what he had to do. And she made her own rules, did what they had to do. It's only until that person then loses the power that then you see the cavalcade of like, everybody coming down on what a horrible person that person was. Yeah, now that they're not powerful.
Right, now that they're murdered. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel pretty bold now that I don't know. There's something in the psychology of us as humans where we just like we kind of gravitate towards that outlaw a little bit. I think. I don't know.
Of course, everybody loved Tony Montana, right?
Yeah. But it wasn't always that way. Like the original hero in motion pictures was, the upstanding citizen. It was the It's a Wonderful Life guy. It's like, oh, George.
I've noticed I tend to root for a lot of times, not always, but I tend to root for like the bad guys in a lot of movies.
Bad guys get the best lines.
You guys take Heat for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Heat, you have Al Pacino playing what was his name, Hannah, or like something like that. He's the on the side of the law.
Yep.
And then you have like De Niro and the crew are the bank robbers.
Yep.
I'm 100% rooting for the crew. Right, and it might just be because there's more of them that we're like kind of indoctrinated to, and we start to like them. But like there's so like even if I'm watching Cops, I'm kind of rooting for the bad guy.
Well, who roots for the system?
Because I can't I could be in the position of the guy getting pulled over.
Yeah.
But I'm not a police officer, so I can't really put myself in the cop's shoes where I'm like, well, how much you have to drink here? So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it depends too on the perspective of like what you're looking at. Like for a bad boy to have a little bit of like charm or charisma or look, like for me, like give me the Titanic, give me Billy Zane over Leonardo DiCaprio any day. And he was like, I was like, oh,
yeah.
Why can't she love Billy Zane? That was zero. That was probably not the majority of anybody's perspective watching Titanic. But you give somebody what they like. I like dark hair. I like dark eyes. I like this.
Yeah, it's like in The Notebook. The rich guy did nothing wrong.
Right.
The rich guy did literally nothing wrong in The Notebook whatsoever. And it's like, I watched The Notebook and I'm like, this is the dumbest movie I've ever seen in my life. This is the single stupidest movie.
Well, I think it's too about that chemical connection and just knowing when somebody's supposed to be right for you. I think that's the more of the. But but you thought the rich and he was good looking, right? He was.
Did nothing wrong.
Yeah, he was a good looking.
It did nothing. Like, okay, whatever, leave. I don't care. Yeah. Oh, great. Now you got a girl with Alzheimer's. How'd it work out for you, buddy?
Well, that was a little harsh.
Jesus.
Fuck Matt Rife. All right, so.
And that's a callback.
Yeah. Man, so you go on tour. Now, you open for the Righteous Brothers, is that correct?
I just recently
What's it like doing comedy in front of a room full of people
that are not there for comedy and that are not there for you?
Because there's a very famous... There's a very, very famous instance of this that they thought in the 80s they were going to bring the biggest stars in the world together on one tour. And they were going to have George Carlin and Kiss together. And George Carlin was going to do comedy.
That's odd.
It lasted like 4 shows. And Carlin was like, there's no amount of money you can pay me to go back on that stage ever again.
The thing is, it has to be, I realized this, because I initially said yes. I was like, this is cool. I'm going to get to go to Righteous Brothers concerts. It's classic. It's like, what an experience. And then whatever. And then as it got closer, I was like, what the hell was I thinking when I said yes? She can ask her. I was like, I was dreading it. I was like writing new material. I was trying to write things for each city. I was just like, oh my God, is this going to be hacky?
For sure.
Is this going to be horrible? I was like stressing myself out. And then I will say, I had a wonderful reception. I think you have to be the right fit for the audience, which I didn't think I was going to be. It was I'm in Ohio, I'm in Michigan. The mean age is 30 years my senior at best. for this audience. They're not coming for comedy. They're not comedy club ticket purchasers, and they're not even right.
That seems a thing. Like if you're it's like you're mixing genres there. Like people are there
100%.
to like.
And I was listed on the websites, but let's face it, they're going to see a Righteous Brothers concert. And aside for the few people that came to see just me, and then got to see them. But the majority of them, 98% of them, 99.9% of them.
Well, we've talked about this on the
was
podcast
there for the
before.
Righteous Brothers.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Like when you're first starting in comedy and they're fortunate to do bringers or whatever, people that aren't comedy fans come out to see you, and they're bad at being comedy. Like being a fan of comedy, there's a certain role you play in the show. It's an interactive performance. So if you've been going to comedy and you know comedy, you're like, okay, this is when you laugh. This is, you don't let you don't let the room get tight. There's the audience has a huge role in the overall performance. It's a really give and take. And if you have people who go into it like uptight, they don't know what to do, they're trying to order from somebody, they're like calling over or something, they've never been in that environment, it's a net negative, man. It's a real bad thing.
I heard the best saying in the world. Could I just say it?
Yeah.
Somebody said that when you have, just say like cabaret, like when comics go up, like you said, and there's somebody passing drinks while you're giving your jokes, it's the same thing with singers, musicians, anything. When you have cabaret, it's food and dining and entertainment, and somebody said that is an insult to both the chef and the artist.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never heard it put that way, but that is 100% true. So in our business, we call it the check spot, and that's normally your audition spot. So, in New York, if you're trying to I don't even know if there are house shows anymore. Everything's a produced show, but you'd have your host, who's a very experienced comic. Then you'd have 2 or 3 house comics, and then you'd have your closer or your headliner or whatever. And that third spot before the headliner is the check spot. That's when they would pass out the checks. That's when the service ends. So now you're up there for your 8 minutes doing your audition, and it's the boiler pot because nobody in the room is paying attention to what you're saying.
Oh my God.
Hey, you owe me $20. Hey, we gotta split this, and you gotta do your set.
Or if they serve food during the thing, it's like, I think Colin Quinn said, I'll never be funnier than a steak. Something like it's you're eating. You're not. It doesn't make a difference who's up on that stage. You have food in front of you.
Yeah.
But for the Righteous Brothers, it was not. There was no. Not even servers. It was. We were in big,
you're in a
huge
theater.
theaters.
You're in a theater. Yeah, it's completely different.
And when I think what stressed me out, not so much. I could recover from a bad show at this point. Like if it was not the best outing, okay, I'm good. Like my career's right there. But I didn't want to disappoint the people that believed in me, that put me on the show.
Oh, yeah.
So that put pressure on me. More like I just don't want to upset them.
You don't want to upset the Righteous Brothers.
Well, right. I was like, they're going to be like, who is this girl getting up there like bombing before our show? Which is like, I don't want,
You've lost that love and
I use that as a quote, actually. I use that as a punchline or tag, I should say, for one of my jokes.
Parallel thinking.
But no, when I got off stage the first show, it was a rush. Like I felt like, oh my God, I feel so good. And when I got off, literally the producer came up to me and he was like, well, that's a way to make 1,000 people belly laugh at the same time. And I was like, oh, I just was like, okay, I could do this again tomorrow now. And then we went to Michigan and I did it again. And then at the end of because I only had 2 shows with them initially, and we went to the hotel bar after, and Bill Medley walked in and he's like, well, young lady, it seems like, all people can talk about is how you kill. And I was like,
hey.
And I was like, okay, I could do
That's
this.
gotta feel
now
good,
I'm like, then I went from telling her I dreaded it to being like, but Kat, now I want to be on tour with the Righteous Brothers.
Hey, how do I get the Righteous Brothers to open for me?
How do I keep doing this?
Yeah.
There will be more, so now I'm happy.
Did you ever think about doing any comedy? Did you do stage work as an actress at all?
Yes, but I would never want to do comedy. No desire.
She's the best storyteller, hands down, as from a comic, from somebody who studied Carlin and
that's high praise
Murphy
right there.
and Colin Quinn. I am a Colin Quinn fanatic. I used to have a cardboard cutout of him. She's probably hands down one of the best storytellers.
What's one of your favorite stories of hers that she could share on our podcast?
No, this is my dysfunctional childhood that when I tell my stories. But also, I think you liked when I gave birth.
That's my all-time favorite. But all of
No,
her,
I could
no.
never.
Why?
No,
It's too long.
no.
Too drawn
All
out.
of her,
I want to
It's
hear.
a whole
What a
performance.
gif.
I want to hear.
It's
But I
about-
didn't realize it till we went out. I didn't realize it in Canada. We went out for dinner when we both got back from New York,
Yeah.
and she told the story. And I remember and I wasn't close enough with her at that time, but I wanted to be like, do this on stage, like do this. And now I tell her all the time, like she can have a one-woman show. She won't, and I'm done beating the dead horse. But she could do it in other
I don't
ways.
know why. I have no desire to be on a stage by myself at all.
Because you're not a sociopathic narcissist like we are. Yeah.
I
Ding,
like
ding, ding,
sharing. I like sharing the stage. Even when I've given awards before or events. I want the other person's. If I get all like more lines to talk, I'm like, want to switch? Let me just go. And the winner is or here for you. I don't. I just don't like. I'd rather have a character to work on being in front of a camera than being myself on a stage.
But you are now doing something with the stories. It's not there.
Yeah, I'm writing.
She's
I'm
writing
writing
them.
vignettes, little short 12-page
Vignettes for people that are 17 listening to this are what TikToks used to be called. So she's making little TikToks here. That's what we're
Really?
It's like short
just get a
little.
TikTok. You're getting a little 60-second or less.
No.
No, she said
it's
12
12
pages.
No, it's
I
12 pages,
would tell
yeah.
you what you should do if she is that good at storytelling.
It's
She wants to tell stories, tell a story. So I can't really claim it, but
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to take your word for it, I guess. Unless you want to tell a story and prove it.
I would never tell it. Now I'll tell you later. I'll tell you after I
Bring
have
the
a few
Build-A-Bear.
drinks in me.
Yeah, I like it. Now,
Put it this way: I'm not going to tell the story at all. It's just that after I gave birth to my daughter, and I came home on the second night of having my newborn daughter, and I was 16 years old. I thought I went into labor for the second time.
Oh,
And me and my mother thought they left the baby up there.
what?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So you had
You
a
were
tough childhood. You were
16?
16 when you had your first
Yeah.
kid. Wow.
Oh man.
Too bad Teen Mom wasn't around back then. You could have got the whole fame thing quicker, huh?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
well, you got to tell us that story. What's the?
That's another day.
That's another
off
day.
camera.
Off camera.
Everything's off camera.
Everything's off camera. Nothing's on the record.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So it was clearly a planned pregnancy. 16 is a little young to get
about-
started on
It
the
was
family,
so
but I
planned.
like
it was
it.
planned for years.
Yeah, it had
I
a
started
nice.
planning at 12.
You had a nice little place in Westchester. You were playing house one day.
Yeah.
Yes, a fine gentleman from the local lemonade stand
Right as
came
you
over.
finished your algebra homework.
Yeah.
You were like,
Yeah.
start family planning.
That's not it. What do you
Yeah.
think? We'll just
I
have-
can't family plan at 43.
It's nobody can. I mean, but I feel like everybody figures it out, right? I mean, you figure it out, right?
Do you have kids?
No,
Do you want kids?
I do.
I do.
I feel like why not ask a guy? They always ask women. You do want kids.
I do. I actually had Chaz yell at me on the podcast about this because I told him I could see myself being a father, but I can't really see myself being a husband. And he was like, "Yeah, it's because you're a selfish bastard." I was like, "Okay, fair enough."
Yeah, I want a brood of.
Why, are you a big player?
I'm not. No, I used to be. I'm not anymore. I'm not. But I don't know. It's just
Do you think it's because it's hard to? I'm sorry, I cut you right off.
No,
but is
go
it
ahead.
because you're a comedian, like an artist, like that part of you is such a priority and such a laser focused?
It doesn't help.
Or it's not. Okay.
It doesn't help. Yeah. The lifestyle is not very conducive to.
Because that was my issue. Yeah. That's why I was
it's
asking.
not. It's not like you're not at home. You're going away
Mm-hmm.
for periods of time, and somebody has to be very strong. You get DMs or something like that, or there's meet and greets after shows and stuff. But it's just I don't know. I've never had a relationship where it was
Where that was kind of ignited in you.
yeah, where it was like, man,
felt that.
this, I don't know. Maybe it's the libertarian in me. Maybe it's like if you want to leave, go for it. I don't really care. Like, you want me to do this, I don't want to do it. And you said this is the.
But like, if you're gonna have kids, aren't you gonna want some help?
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
But
are you gonna want a mother
so what
and
am I?
shit like that?
I'm
Like-
marrying the help. Like, I want a partner. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. But you just said you had no desire for
But you're
that.
young, right?
No, not really. No, not that young. Not that young. I'm at an age now where I wouldn't try to convince her to get an abortion. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd hope she'd keep it. I'm
Right.
at that age.
You're at that age.
Yeah.
Where you're not driving
Yeah.
offering a 400.
Which also is why I'm not really the player I used to be, because I'm like,
I gotta be careful now.
yeah.
You gotta see who you get locked into.
I also think I'm past condoms at this point in my life too. I'm not. There's no going back. So
You what? You're living in the right state, you.
what you talk? You're gonna lecture me?
Yeah.
You're gonna lecture me?
Yeah, it comes from the people most experienced. in
I
it.
know.
You're living in the right state.
Well, yeah.
think you
Luckily,
have to find the right person.
Luckily
I
for
believe
the
that.
for the good looking women of the Bronx, I'm not trolling the waters for 16-year-olds. So I think we're,
Thanks for
No,
saying
I
that
think you
for
have
everybody.
to find the right person.
Thanks for putting that out there.
That's a public service announcement.
Let me ask you something about this.
Ask me.
Okay, I've heard that drinking more than a gallon a day is not good for the brain because it.
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy.
Okay, but you drink 3 of these?
No, not typically. But I don't think someone who's not exercising and sweating the way I am should drink like several gallons a day.
Okay.
But I'm like on a hard training day, I'm probably sweating out a gallon of water.
Wow.
So if I'm putting one in to replenish and then one to, kind of fill me up as well, I think it's okay. But I typically I will do 2 of them a day.
Wow.
Yeah, especially when if I'm training hard and pouring sweat and all that, sauning, practicing 2-3 times a day.
How many
I think it's
calories do you
good.
think you burn in? Do you know?
I don't know exactly, but I don't know. Probably on like a day like that, probably around 5,000,
Crazy.
something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. I go hard.
Kid trains
go
hard.
hard.
3 times a day, hard training.
So what's the goal in your career? Like, what is it that you're going for?
Beat up as many people as I can, get as much money as I can, and be a champion. Yeah, and set myself up for whatever I plan to do after. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
How many
Yeah.
years typically do fighters? From an ignorant standpoint, I really don't know.
Yeah. You mean like what? Where do they like retire?
Career was like, well, I met your mentor before. Is he still?
Like
he-
fighting or
yeah,
anything? No. That was David Adib. He's like my teacher, like my jujitsu, like he's a jujitsu specialist and like master. But I've been fighting professionally since I was 23. I had my first professional fight. I'm 31 now, and I plan to fight like until like I'm at least 40.
Okay.
I'd like to, and maybe not with the same regularity that I'd like to now, but I'd like to do it into my 40s. Some like I think nowadays, like people like Matt Brown, he's one of my good friends. He's 41, still fighting the UFC. Anderson Silva, what is he, 45, still fighting? Like, there's a lot of the longevity is still there.
now.
Well, guys aren't smoking darts. It's not like you grew up in the mines when you were 12 years old.
Yeah, we understand health and we take care of ourselves.
And the fighting you do is with no gloves. It's like
it's a little gloves in the cage.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so it's like you're kicking, you're punching, you're wrestling, all that stuff.
Would you then teach?
Uh,
Do you think about that, or is it too far?
I would like to. I will absolutely. I'd be crazy to take all this information I've been learning and learned and just take it to the grave with me. I absolutely plan to teach and plan to share it. That's not all I want to do though.
Right.
So I will. That'll absolutely be a part of my life. Like even now, like I teach.
You just don't know what
sometimes.
platform you'll do it in. Is what you're saying, maybe.
I think
Well, he has an OnlyFans.
Oh, there you go.
I do. Where I actually teach moves. I don't do
naked.
I'm not doing naked.
There's only one way to
dick in
find
the
out,
mirror
Narducci.
shots.
There's only one.
Naked
There's only.
moves.
OnlyFans has comedy too now. I think.
I know.
You could-
Yeah, they're trying to move away from just the naked stuff.
They messaged me about
The
doing
naked stuff.
comedy.
The
I
naked
was
stuff
like,
does a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
Probably pays
I'd
a
be
lot
making
more.
a lot more if I was naked.
Pays
for
a lot
sure.
more.
For sure.
So you guys are Italian, yeah? Italian?
Duh.
Yeah. So I assume watching guys fight is like the ultimate turn on for you. Then I would imagine.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
It's in the blood.
No, I fight enough for both of us.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You don't. When you watch the UFC, you watch guys fighting.
Oh, I
That's
can't
not-
even watch what he does.
Really?
Can't
She's
even
a
watch
gentle
it.
spirit.
Squeamish?
I cannot even watch it. I could watch boxing
Really?
to a
Boxing's
certain extent.
worse.
To a
I
certain
love
extent.
boxing.
You love boxing.
Love. I saw some amazing boxing
Some
events.
bouts. You've been to the bouts.
I saw some major.
Look at this.
boxing.
Look at this
But
jacket.
I
This
don't know
awesome
if I
jacket.
can.
You got the whole
I don't-
Rizzo.
I
You
don't
got
blame
Rizzo
I
vibes
had,
going on right now.
So I had like my family members, like my aunts,
She
like go to
wants
my
that-
first
throw the
fights,
hands.
and they like hid between the seats. Like
Yeah, I
they
couldn't.
realized very quickly like it was not for them. And I
I wouldn't
get
even
that.
watch it on TV, so let alone see you in. I mean,
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
intense
From
though. It's
afar.
very primal. Like when you see it in
Yeah, I
person,
can't.
especially when it's like someone you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're like fucking kill.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Or,
get,
or
like-
I would want to like
Or you
stop
go
it.
the other way.
Yeah, I'd like run. I can't.
You'd wanna break
I would
it
never
up?
see him live. I like
That'd
him
be a
now
great
too
bit.
much, and I'd
That
be
like that would be
no.
a great bit if you were able to hop the cage and break it up and then
Right.
finger wag at it,
I mean-
boys.
hit him with the shoe.
Talk
Yeah,
about going
get a
viral.
wooden,
Yeah, right.
get a wooden spoon
Right.
out there, go
Talk
in there
about
like
being
Nona.
viral, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, when you're fighting and you see these fighters all banged up, nose, blood, and they're still going, does it look as painful as it is, or are you numb at
tell
this
you,
point
it's-
where you don't even feel because the adrenaline's so high? To us, it looks worse.
Yes, it there you definitely feel way less. You feel it the next day much more.
Right.
Like when you're in it, you're just like it's almost like you're like it's like oh my ship's taking some impact somewhere. But like or like ooh I'm getting I've like yeah that landed. But it's like you're not like ouch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not at all. I don't feel I've had like 50 stitches in my face and I didn't feel pain from one of them.
Did you have your nose broken?
No, knock on wood.
That's amazing. You've never had your nose broken.
Yeah, it's a good nose.
Oh shit! It really is.
Yeah, I'll try and protect it going forward too.
Yeah.
Can't help the
trying-
ears. He needs
trying-
that nose
Yeah, I
good.
know, right?
There's
Yeah.
no help in the ears.
Remember
I think they
in
can do some
Raging
surgery.
Bull?
Take that little thing
Remember
off.
in
Of course.
Raging Bull when
You never
he
knock
says
me
we're gonna
down,
knock
Ray.
when he says we're gonna do, when she said he's cute, he's good looking. He says good looking. He goes in.
Yeah, he
wants-
beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was some scene. I love that scene.
That was a great movie.
That was
I
a
love
great
Raging
Have
Bull.
you worked with Scorsese?
Yeah, Irishman.
Irishman, Irishman. What was it like working with Scorsese?
It was a dream come true. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's one of
Amazing.
Mickey likes 3 directors. He likes Guy Ritchie, Scorsese, and Tarantino, or as I like to say, Quentin Tarantino, Italian Tarantino, and British Tarantino.
That's funny.
So
I love Guy Ritchie too.
Yeah,
Me too.
Those are my
Snatch.
favorite movies. Yeah, love Snatch. I love
the
Lock,
Gentleman
Stock.
just came out, was fantastic.
I didn't see The Gentleman.
Yeah.
It's good. It's on Netflix. I like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels too.
That was
I love the
great.
way his stories all come together.
What do you think the best Scorsese film is?
It's hard to pick. I started to go Goodfellas at first.
To me, there's one above the rest.
I like Casino so much.
Casino's good.
What's the one above the rest?
Well, what do you guys think?
I don't know what that is.
So what the best
No,
the best Scorsese?
You know, I'm gonna have to say Mean Streets.
Mean Streets, really going with the classic.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
is that?
Because that really inspired a lot of kids. I'm not from the Bronx, by the way. I'm born and raised in East Harlem, which was a very predominantly Italian neighborhood.
East Harlem was?
East Harlem.
Really?
100%.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that's where they filmed Godfather Harlem, like for the Italian part.
I fucking love that show.
Okay, that's East Harlem where the Italian
Really?
guys are. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I actually helped them do scout locations and everything on that. So, but anyway, I think that Mean Streets had a big impact on me because when we came out of that theater, we saw people like us and talk like us and walk like us. It was just like amazing. It's like, wow, I could do that.
Yeah.
You know, it was inspiring.
I think I know which one you're gonna say now. I won't say. I'll let you go first.
I'm a Goodfellas to me is.
Yeah.
You know.
Let me guess. Wolf of Wall Street.
It's second number 2 for me.
Oh, I
What's
love
the-
Departed.
Wall Street's number
Departed.
2. Departed's number
Departed.
fuck,
Because I
Departed is
almost
pretty
said
goddamn
Departed.
good.
I
Departed's
knew you
number
get
1.
because I was like, Departed was really well done.
Departed
so
is
good.
it's
But I
it's
guess-
almost a perfect
Yeah.
movie.
It's
Bronx
great.
Tale to me is almost a perfect movie. It's impossible to pick something that could have been better.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. I
Departed's
slept
right
on the
there.
Departed. You're
I knew,
right.
I knew
That
you were
was
going to say
great.
Departed from
That was
a-
good.
Departed is
Kismet.
good. I just worked with Bob and Barry
So now she calls him
Levinson.
Bob.
Those
It
plebeians.
used to be
It's
Robert De Niro.
Robert
but
De
now
Niro.
she's-
Now
now
it's
she calls him Bob. She's on the inside.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good for you, dude.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
And I don't usually fist pump?
yeah.
That's actually I gotta say public service announcement
Yeah.
for when I I don't like that shit either. Like, I don't like getting hit on. These are my tools.
Yeah.
If I'm giving a fist bump, I go like this. Like, give me
like
some. Like, I go
sideways,
sideways.
I
Because
like
I've had
that.
people go, and I'm like, the fuck, man. Like, I gotta
Yeah.
punch shit
I don't
later.
like
I've
that
been
either.
punching shit all day.
Although I will
Wow.
say, on my
Yeah, so I
headstone,
just turn it sideways.
I like
Good.
that.
when I
Yeah.
die, on my headstone now, it'll say, "Here lies Gerard Michaels, fisted by Kathrine Narducci."
Oh shit.
It's gonna go
Hey,
viral.
congratulations, G. Congratulations.
You got competition, Matt Rife. He's airing that
That's
one.
right, Matt Rife. Yeah. What do you think? Did you get?
We'll call this
did you get-
episode
On my- on my-
Footsied and
on
Fisted
my-
by Narducci.
You keep your Build-A-Bears, Matt Rife.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
keep
I got fisted by Charmaine Bucco. What do you? Your move. Your move.
Shit.
I'm a true comic. I'll just have mine say, "I leave you with this."
Nice. That's it. So do you have kids?
No,
Do you want kids?
this year I'm debating it the most, probably because the clock is a ticking.
Yeah.
As
Well,
the-
there's people. There's people. Again, science and
Well,
all this other stuff.
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
the cap for having kids, you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think if you have young eggs, like if you've done IVF or like frozen eggs, I think you can do it at any time in your life that you want.
Okay.
But
did you-
biologically,
you
women,
froze
I
some
did.
earlier
Yeah,
in your life?
early on when I
Smart
started
move.
comedy, because I
It's
was
a savvy
like,
move
yeah.
right there.
See, I even
Wow.
got the fist.
You got fisted by Mickey
I
Gall.
got- I mean, a lot
Yes,
of.
digital. This is
I guess
wild.
a lot of girls can say that. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think now is the year I think about it, and I'm like, wait, should this be the year where because now I'm just starting to really go away a lot though.
Well, do you have the guy that you would allow inseminate
Yeah,
you?
just got married.
absolutely.
Oh, you
Just
did?
Got married, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure? You don't want to give it 6 weeks? Make sure,
no.
returns.
No, I'm good.
all right.
I'm good with him being the donor, but I don't know. We'll see.
Throw a bun in the oven.
This is so sick because I said this to another comic, and I was like, and I was rationalizing it, and I said, and whatever, more material, and she goes, she goes, I don't know if you just heard yourself, but you actually said you'd have a kid for material, and I was like,
That's a true professional.
Honestly,
right there.
for the story. You got to do it for the story.
I said, it's really sick that I said it like that, but it's really how I feel.
Well,
Wow.
all right.
Not the only reason, but
Yeah.
it was like a.
So,
all right.
so you,
Nice little
Okay,
so you heard
mommy
it.
dearest.
So you heard it here. You know
That's
what?
my
I know.
babysitter right
I
there.
know
She's
here.
great with kids. She plays in everything.
Gas Digital is looking to get into the comedy special game. They're looking to put out 6 new comedy specials this year. Maybe you can make a deal, put in
Right.
some royalties for the kid,
Absolutely.
and say, hey, here's the thing.
Right.
You can produce my special, and I promise to get pregnant in order to have the material for
There
said
you go.
special. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll get
That's a good
we'll get
deal.
the Righteous Brothers on board. They can be there at the
Absolutely.
delivery singing
Right.
as the baby's coming out.
No, after I'm
Yeah.
done, they can Bill Medley can sing "I've Had the Time of My Life,"
That's it.
and now it's over because you have a kid.
So the one bad side of drinking all this water is I have to pee.
Oh,
I have to take a quick pee break.
Are we live, landscaper, or not? Thanks, buddy.
Oh shit.
So now that we're back, so you were a single mom when you filmed A Bronx Tale.
Yes, sir.
That comes out. You're still single.
Yeah.
So were you involved in the Hollywood dating scene at all? Did you get
No.
into? You didn't. You didn't wind up with like Burt Reynolds one night.
No.
Doing a pitch meeting or something.
No.
No.
No, stop trying to find some dirt on
No
me.
I'm
casting
digging.
couch.
Don't-
About tail end.
No casting couch stories
Listen.
for Kitty.
No. No, wait. So let me tell you about this movie that I just did with De Niro.
Oh, please do.
I'll call him De Niro for you.
No, Bob.
Bob. So he's playing 2 people, and it's Barry Levinson directed it. He's playing Costello,
Frank Costello?
Frank Costello and Vito Genovese.
Really?
Oh,
He's
is
playing
it so
2
up
different
my
people.
alley?
Oh, really? I'll show you the pictures of him.
Yeah.
I can't-
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a really good movie. It comes out February 2nd in theaters.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's
next
incredible.
year.
What's
Gotta
the
wait
name
a
of
whole
it?
year? Shit.
It's not even a whole year. February. February's not a
Nah,
year.
we're good. We gotta wait 9 months.
9 months.
You give me
Guess,
like-
guess,
give me
guess
early
who's gonna
copy.
be there?
I'm gonna have a baby.
Guess who's gonna be there at the premiere?
premiere?
You're gonna be there holding a little bachigaloop at
Yeah,
the premiere. It's gonna be
yeah.
great.
Little
I love
bambino.
Little bambino. So, have you ever been offered a role that you turned down that you regretted?
I've turned down roles, but nothing I've ever regretted. No.
Yeah. Is there something?
There's something I just turned down a while back, but I don't want to say what it is because it's not out yet, and I don't know how it's going to do. I hope it does good.
Yeah.
Whatever I turn down that I feel like, I don't know if I like it, I hope it does well, and I hope whoever gets it, whoever gets it, I feel was meant for me to say no, and they get it. I just big believer in that. So, there have been things I've turned down, plenty, but nothing that I regretted so far.
Is there a role that's out there that you'd love to do in a perfect world? What's the absolute dream
I want to work
role?
with Quentin Tarantino.
Oh,
Hell
the real
yeah.
Quentin
There we
Tarantino,
go.
the
You're
Italian
making
Tarantino,
all
or the
of
British
Mickey's
Tarantino?
dreams come
Yes.
true.
Okay, so I met him at the
What do your
Academy
feet look like?
Awards.
Let's get your feet up on here and make this
Yeah.
thing happen.
Yeah, if he likes
Oh.
the Tootsies, you're in, girl.
Oh,
Tarantino likes himself some
Tarantino.
Tootsies.
Oh,
it-
really? We
I'm
just
big
talked
foot
about
guy.
foot fetishes on the podcast.
Oh my God!
I
do I
get-
have good
I get
feet?
offer. You
Let
do
me
have-
look.
They're in size
see.
order.
Let's go.
Let's see.
Oh, those are good Tootsies.
Oh,
Put
you
them
got
up.
great-
You got to put them up.
Those
Put
are-
them up.
Those
I'll
are some
put it
nice
this way.
Tootsies.
Put them up.
Look
Put-
at those.
Can we
Quentin,
get
send
we
send
gotta get
video
the-
to Quentin Tarantino.
They're not getting on
They don't
Not getting
camera.
on camera.
They
All
We're
right,
not
don't
getting them on camera. What? They're panning. Look at that.
Ta-da, look at
Quentin
that foot.
Tarantino. Everybody.
this.
That's a perfect foot.
That's a
Quentin.
perfect foot.
Everybody-
Quentin.
That's
Hell yeah.
amazing.
Audience, you know what to do. Audience, we're gonna get that clip out there. Every single one of you, the Slick and Thick Army,
Quentin
tags
Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino, and Narducci is in.
No, hashtag
man.
Quentin Tarantino, hashtag Kathrine Narducci, hashtag Next leading
Book the
lady.
foot. Book the foot is the hashtag. Book the foot.
book the foot.
Let's
foot.
go. Slick and Thick
Book the
Army.
foot.
There's
Gas
only
Digital,
one more
we need you.
Tarantino movie coming out allegedly.
Book the foot.
I
And
gotta
so
be in
so
it.
we gotta get that. We gotta.
Why
have
can't
to.
it be Book the Foot?
Book the foot.
That's a
Book
great
the foot.
movie title.
Why not?
That's
Let's
the name
do
of the
it.
episode
I'm
as
into
well.
it. Book the foot.
I mean, that'll be the first time my foot would be a lead in a movie.
Tell you what,
Let's go.
I'd watch it.
I'm in. I'm 100% in. Narducci plus
And I could do the
Tarantino.
voice.
Come on.
I
love
can do
it.
the voice
What voice we got?
voice?
for my foot.
What's the voice of the foot?
Oh, the foot's gonna talk.
How you doing, Quinn? It's me, Katherine's left foot over here.
I get messages like this all the time. She does the emojis, and I get a voice. It's an emoji with that voice, literally ranting at me. Every time she sends it, she knows I'm gonna lose it.
Oh, that's
Rant. I mean, these go on
Oh,
for
like
3
the
minutes.
emoji face?
It's
So
an
look,
emoji
you just
face
gotta do that
talking
with the
that
foot
with the
emoji.
foot.
The foot
Ah, the
emoji.
foot emoji.
You gotta do it with
it's
the
perfect.
foot.
I gotta do my foot emoji.
Oh my
You gotta
god.
do it with the foot.
This is big. This is big, guys.
This
is
is
big.
it.
This is the next
we
big
need
thing.
we need to
This
make
is
this
big.
happen. Hashtag
It's the
book
next
the food.
big thing.
Book
Book the
the food. Book the food. Hashtag book the food.
Yes,
the
book
food.
the foot.
Yes, man. Wow.
Amazing.
I
If
wanna
you get
work with
if you
him.
get a Quentin Tarantino movie off of this,
I
she's
need
gonna,
to-
it's gonna be slick, thick, and
Oh,
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
If I see Quentin, I'm like, hey, you seen the Tootsies on Narducci?
After
Why can't
this
it
is what
be
you gotta
slick,
do.
thick in the foot like Smokey and the Bandit?
You're
on.
wel-
Slick,
Right.
thick, and the foot.
kitty.
You girls
Slick,
are
thick,
welcome
and the
back
kitty.
whenever you want. You kidding me?
Slick,
Yeah.
thick, and the kitty.
What's going on now? We can't
Kitty.
put that on camera, I don't think.
No, Kitty Narducci.
Yeah, well, that is my
Oh,
nickname.
you can definitely put it on camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you wish, Aubrey.
That's my nickname, Kitty. That's why she's saying it. You don't know
That was-
that.
yeah.
That's my nickname.
All right.
Well, now we do.
That was my name in Euphoria, too, on my license plate. For people who really...
Oh yeah, Euphoria. You guys
Notice
didn't
it.
mention Euphoria.
Euphoria-
Did you see the opening?
I gotta
Second
tell you.
season opening?
It
just
kind of grosses
for-
me out a little bit.
Wait, didn't we
Did you
just
see
hear?
season 2?
I didn't see
Harvey?
season
Heard about
two.
Euphoria on the last
It
episode,
grosses you
right?
out, the guy who's giving $400 to his girlfriends to go get $400 abortions.
What? Who's doing that? I'm doing
You
that.
did that, G.
I
Yeah.
did that?
Yeah, you did
She
that,
took
dude.
mine.
You did
Narducci
say
said
it.
it.
That's why you moved to Florida. You told us.
Wait, what if
Does
Quentin
a lot of
Tarantino
things.
just books the foot and not Catherine? Like only her foot is now in the movie.
Oh,
Like
no.
if it's your foot, I will still pay money
Don't
to go see
put
it.
that out in the universe. Don't do that.
No,
Don't do
no.
that.
I
Book the
love
foot.
When you win your next fight, it's got to be, with like a spinning head kick, and then at the end you got to be like Tarantino, Bubby, book the foot,
Bubby,
book the foot.
Bubby.
Come
the
on,
foot.
book
Yeah,
the
he'll
foot,
know.
man. He'll
Yeah.
know.
I
He'll
got
know.
you, Narducci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll know.
Book the foot.
So what's next for you, Tara?
What's next for me? Colorado, Montreal.
Oh, Just for
Just
Laughs? Are
on
you
the
doing
road.
Just for Laughs?
No, I'm doing mid-June. I'm doing Montreal.
Oh, cool. Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. And what about you?
I'm just waiting for my movie to come out
In February
right
2nd?
now. No, I'm doing. I'm probably gonna go back to Godfather of Harlem season 3. Maybe end of summer they start filming again. I don't even know when. And I got this movie coming out, and in the meantime, I'm writing.
Oh, great. Awesome.
And you do a lot of painting.
I do a lot of painting.
What do you paint?
Abstract, figurative. I sculpt.
Really?
Yeah, that's going to be my next show. I want to have a show with my sculptures. That's what I really want to do that. I'm going to make that happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Sculpting. Interesting.
Did the scarves come out?
The scarves. Please, they robbed the scarves.
I
scarves.
don't know what you're talking about.
She put her
They
art
robbed the
on clothing.
scarves.
Really?
Yes.
So you make the sculpture and then you put scarves on them?
No. She paints and then
That's a whole nother movie.
like clothing.
When you do the sculpture, do you go little PP or big PP in the like the statue of David? Big pecs, little PP.
Oh yeah, they don't want the
I don't get
dick
to
to
the
take
point.
away from the art.
Yeah.
You know, in like those old statues, how they like all the statues have,
Yeah.
have little dicks.
They do.
Because they don't want the dick to take away from the art. They want them to see the art, not be distracted by the huge hog.
Is that what you read?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I read.
First
I
of all,
never heard that. That's,
we're just 100% sure that that's small. We're just like everybody's on
Wait,
board
that's
with
small?
that. We're
What, the David?
yeah, we're
Wait,
I mean,
that's not big.
Oh,
is that not?
have you seen the David?
Yeah, not in person.
Oh,
I've seen
you?
pictures.
I
I've
saw
seen
it in
pictures.
person.
You saw it in person. Was it small?
you know, I don't really, I guess in comparison to, I don't remember focusing on it.
Ah.
So maybe,
Good, it worked. The art worked.
maybe
Ah.
it's proven his theory
How
correct.
about that? How about that? Now, you talked about earlier with the cauliflower ear about how, with some fighters that's
Wait,
like...
do you need to put the AC on? Oh
Were
my
you about to
god.
ask me about my?
So you got the cauliflower ear, but like we talked about, for a lot of guys, it's like a badge of honor type of a thing, right?
It's your big dick, is what he's saying.
That's not what I'm saying. What? Huh?
Like you show it off.
It's true. If I had like a 10-incher, I'd be wearing like Speedos
What were we
nonstop.
just talking
It's true.
about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for some people it's like a badge of honor. Like I think you earn the cauliflower ear. Like you don't just like kids who would watch fighters would bash their ears with rocks to try and get some cauliflower ear. Mm-hmm. You know?
So I just recently learned that back in World War I Germany, and it continued into Nazi Germany, these guys would have, it was early kind of MMA, they'd have these fight clubs, but it would be with swords, and they'd have fencing, and they'd take the protective tip off of the fencing, and then get these massive scars. So how all the villains in movies had these
Yes.
facial scars and stuff.
Yeah.
That comes from the Germans that were fighting in World War I and in World War II. A lot of the generals had these massive scars that they did to themselves from having these fencing
See,
fightings.
that's stolen valor. That's like bashing your ear with a rock.
Yeah, so
stolen valor. You
these
didn't
guys
earn
have
that
these,
shit.
These guys, they literally got cut by somebody else in a fight.
Right, that's real. But you said they would just cut themselves
No,
just
but
to look like
what
it.
they would do, some guys did that, but what they would do is you'd get cut. You gotta, if you can, pull
you
up.
rip open the scab and make it worse.
They'd stuff it with horsehair and stuff so it wouldn't close and it would hump up.
Yeah.
And these guys would have these look. You got to look at some of these scars. It's incredible, and the way it looks is unreal.
Do we have to look at it?
You can. I mean, probably not because it's not being pulled up.
Could you do it after we leave?
Sure, but
And let
it
us
was
know.
it was a sign. German women were super duper into it back in the day.
Attractive.
They were super into
Sexy.
it. Yes.
Wow.
It was some sort of status symbol.
You know what I mean? It's it's manly.
So I guess my
masculine.
question then would be what is that stupid thing that doesn't make any sense for women today that that's really attractive for that guy even though it's really dumb like that? Is there something like that?
That's a really good question. What do you think?
Something that would be really, I look at a feature that probably a lot of people wouldn't look at. I look at a man's hands.
Hands?
Hands.
What's sexy about hands?
I don't know. You have to have a certain type of hand.
What type of hand we talking here?
I don't know.
Don't look at my hand now. Don't look at my hand.
Looking at hands.
I feel uncomfortable.
I don't know. I feel like there's something about a man's hands that
Do they have good hands?
Yeah, how are our hands?
Rate it 1 to 10.
You have good hands.
Rate it.
They're
Tell-
good hands.
Good hands.
Both of them?
Yeah, I think.
Who has better hands?
Yeah. You got to
Don't
feel
lie.
them really to know.
No,
I mean, you got
don't
to
lie.
feel them to know, you know? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I look at a man's hands. I think that's a thing that a lot of women don't look at.
Huh. What do you look at?
I look at hands.
You look at hands?
Do you?
But that's not what I look at.
No.
What do you look
But
at?
think
I mean,
that's
I look at-
that
She
was
looks
one of
at
the weird
bulge.
things.
Bulge? She's a bulge girl?
Bulge?
Bulge?
No.
What do you look at? What are you
I
looking
guess.
for? What do you look for in a man?
Like a weird thing like that. Like
I
you
like
said,
I like
Like a
I
physical.
like a good jaw.
A good jaw.
Oh, good jawline.
Jaw
I got
solid.
good jawline.
Good jaw. Yeah. Not much for beards, I'm taking it.
I'm not. Beards are nice.
That's like they say you go for a man like your father. Your father had a good jawline.
He had a good jaw.
What was it like working with James Gandolfini?
Oh, I love James. I loved working with him on Sopranos, but James and I did a short together called A Whole New Day. While after we did the first season, and then we went and did the short. His best friend Billy Garcia wrote it and directed it, and we play husband and wife. I'll send it to you. The link.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I love working with him on that, and that's where we really got to, I think, know each other. We had a lot of time with each other, but on Sopranos too, of course, it was years. But that's where I really got to really know him, and I just think he was amazing.
His last
Most
film with,
amazing human being.
Julia Louis
that was really,
Dreyfus,
really,
yeah.
really good movie. Really,
It was
really.
a different side of him that people got to see because you kind of stereotyped
Totally.
him with the.
Her too.
Right.
Yeah.
Her too. I think that I'm blanking on the name. That film was very underrated to me. I thought that film was very, very good. A lot of heart.
She's a great actress.
Oh, so funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
So fun. I mean, and
Great.
Yeah, for decades too,
Yeah.
in different roles.
Yeah.
I find her to be very underrated.
Do you know I never thought that I wasn't a crazy Seinfeld person.
Really?
No. And
Interesting.
everybody was watching it. I'd go in another room, like,
was kinda
and then
the same
I
way.
caught it the second, like, years later.
I
and
love it now.
And I didn't see every one. I didn't like binge
Sure.
it, but I saw quite a few, and I never thought she was funny. And the first time I saw it, I didn't think Jerry Seinfeld was funny.
Well, that's a very important part, though.
Right.
So
He
what
was.
Seinfeld did that was, groundbreaking was he was the first lead that didn't give himself the punchlines.
He's kind of like the straight man.
He was the straight man. He was the setup man, and then he was the audience proxy, and all of the
Wow.
craziness around him. All these other comedians, they get their sitcom and they all fail because there's a lot of ego involved. And you're in a writing room, you're like, yo, that's fucking hilarious. I need that line. I need that line. I need that line. And the next thing you know, it just gets boring. It's like everybody else sucks. You're funny. Everybody else is stupid. You're funny. This person's quirky. Oh, there's a gay couple over here. Oh, whatever. And it doesn't. But Jerry being and all this nut stuff happening around him, and him having kind of the humility to let
Yes.
them have their
Yes.
moment.
He would even laugh and break character
All the time.
He laughed
All the
and
time.
he broke character all the time, which really went to show you how much he lended a hand to just everybody else. And like,
So I love that show more than ever now because of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Knowing George is Larry David makes it funnier to me.
so we were Seinfeld because I loved
Yeah, I
Seinfeld.
loved it,
I
loved
lived
it.
for Seinfeld, but then when Curb came out, I couldn't get into it. And now,
Yeah.
with traveling, I started putting it on the planes.
Yep.
And now I started season 9, so I have to go back.
Yeah.
But now I love Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb,
I love that show. It would frustrate the shit out of me. though.
it does. That's its thing.
Like it would. He could just easily say, "Oh no, I meant this."
Yeah.
Show's over.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's the same thing.
That's the
I
brilliant
know,
part
I
of
know.
it, right?
If you go on
like,
Reddit does a great thing with like if Seinfeld was done today, and every Seinfeld episode is 1 minute long. It's just a text message, bro. I'm outside. That's the whole
Right.
thing. That's the entire plot.
Yeah.
Is just hey.
It's nice.
But
It's-
kind of like a Tarantino movie, I love how Seinfeld all came together at the end. Like in that 30 minutes, everybody's storyline merged somehow, and like something from the beginning affected.
Oh, it's so
the
well
end.
written. So well. Frasier, I think, was very well written too.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I
Frasier's
think
good.
now, I think when you miss the boat on the first time a show when everybody's got it, and then you watch it after, I think you appreciate it more.
Totally.
Right.
It's like a surprise. It's
Totally.
like a gift.
That's
It's like,
Parks
wow.
and Parks and Rec for me is like that. I love Parks and Rec, and every time I go back, I see something. Sopranos is like that.
Yeah, I have friends who are watching it for the first time, and I'm like, I'm jealous of you that you get to enjoy it.
What,
for the
Sopranos?
First time.
I want to watch it again
it's
now.
fantastic.
I want
Our
to start
old,
it and see how I feel.
Our our old producer, David Parra, is watching it for the first time. This is a guy, Colombian guy, grew up in Florida. And through becoming friends with us, he's like, I got to see the Sopranos thing. And now it's so funny. Like, and he's not doing it on purpose. We go over the place. I'll go over to his place down in Florida, and I knock over a cup of coffee, and it spills. He goes, Gerard, Maron, come on.
He's picking up mannerisms from.
I'm like, David, the fuck did you just do?
Manon, Fango.
Put the guns away, David. Put the guns away. You don't talk like that, bro. What are you doing? You're come on. You're a hipster with a acoustic guitar. Let's calm down. You know,
Manon.
That's funny.
Oh, Manon.
great.
What are you doing, bro? With Seinfeld. The first choice for George was Danny DeVito. Makes sense. The second choice,
Wow.
how different this would have changed
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
was Chris Rock for George.
Imagine that.
What?
Think
crazy?
about that.
Wait a minute.
Think about that.
For George Costanza?
For George
Yeah, it would've been
Costanza,
Chris
it was
Rock.
Chris Rock.
Wow.
Yeah. What do you think with casting directors when they have a show? How much of getting cast is the casting director's decision versus the director's decision versus the star, the producer's
It's a
decision?
total collab, and the casting directors, I think of it as not that the people who don't get it are the weeds, but like they get rid of all the weeds and bring the bouquet of flowers to the director and producers. Like they'll see 100
They
people.
kind of sift through.
Yeah, and bring all the flowers to them, and they'll, they do the job that they don't want to do, sit there for hours and hours and make their job easy, and they do what they do best.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's all collab, though. And it depends on how much the director and the producers have worked with the casting. Like, Marty always works mainly with the same, Barry Levinson works with the same a lot. So they really trust to know, we trust your work. We trust you. We trust your opinion and your taste.
Do you have any advice for young actors or actresses that are going into auditions? I've heard different things. I've heard.
You don't go in person anymore. You mean self-tapes?
Well, they do self tapes.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your self tapes and you're sending
Going
them
in person is done. That's not.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
until screen test, I guess, would be the first time you're really doing in person, right? So.
I mean, yeah.
You're doing so when you're doing your self tapes.
Yeah.
Have you had to do self
Yeah, of
tapes?
course, all the time.
What advice would you give for young actors and actresses that are doing their self tapes and presenting themselves in this?
I would say don't act.
Don't
I would
act.
say just react. Don't act. Just breathe. Don't try to be anything more. Don't be anything less. Just be. And acting is reacting. And also, when I taught at the School of Visual Arts, I love the saying, and I do it for myself. I repeat it over and over. An ounce of silence is a pound of words. Silence is just doing nothing is just amazing sometimes.
So I tried to tell my ex in bed she wasn't feeling it.
You want silence?
I was like, let's just take a break for a second. Catch our breaths here. Oh, you're not out of breath? I'm out of breath. Let's just. What do you think I am, Matt Rife? Calm down. Fucking.
Gotta pick up that cardio, G.
No.
Somebody bring this man a teddy bear. He really, he just. Sorry, I'll bring Build a Bear next time.
I got a question for you guys.
I do love that.
What are I want to ask you guys your 3 favorite movies and your 3 favorite foods. So in whichever order. I always like asking those questions. I like to hear if you could have and it could be different today, it could be different tomorrow. But if right now, if you were this would be the perfect food. 3 of them.
Food first.
Go.
Yeah.
I mean, I like a nice dish of pasta always.
What kind are we talking here?
I just like a bowl of
Spaghetti, rigatoni.
Little rigatone bolognese here? What are we talking
Yeah,
here?
I like a good bowl of pasta.
We talking
All different
vodka
kinds
sauce?
of pasta.
What are we talking here?
Clams. I'm not a big vodka sauce person. Just a nice
Clams in the white
marinara.
sauce?
Nice marinara, garlic
Okay.
and oil, something like that. Bowl of pasta, I love. And I like a good burger too.
Hell yeah.
I'm a
Burgers in my top 3 as well.
Burger is in my top 3. If you get a good burger, that's a good. And then I'm not at all, ever, a pizza or French fry. I will never go. I'm in the mood for a slice of pizza right now.
Really?
Never.
Me neither. I'm not a pizza or French
I
fry
don't like
person
pizza
at
or French
all.
fry. That's usually people's like weaknesses. I'm not pizza or French fries.
Doesn't do it for me.
What's the third one though? You give 2 you like and 2 you don't.
Pasta,
Probably
burger.
or like a nice steak maybe.
All right.
Steak dinner.
Well done.
What about you?
Me, spaghetti.
Really?
Spaghetti with fresh tomato, basil, salt, pepper,
Nice,
done. Garlic
nice.
oil. Garlic and oil, a little hot pepper.
No pecorino romano on there?
Cheese, of course, at the end.
I'm starting to get really into. They're doing they spin the pasta in
the
the
cheese
cheese.
wheel?
Oh, I'm starting to get really into
yeah.
that. That's something. That's a good one.
I don't like any cheesy, saucy. I don't like cheesy, saucy. I don't like macaroni and cheese.
I don't like mac and cheese.
I don't
Oh, I
like
love mac and
saucy.
cheese.
I like to taste the actual food that I'm eating. I don't want the sauce around it. Like, I'd rather taste...
I'm a condiment guy. I do like some sauce.
I like sauce like to dip, but like a little bit where I taste both in a balance, not where
Okay.
it's just swimming in sauce. I
Right,
don't
right.
like that. So I like good spaghetti, marinade, garlic and oil, everything with hot peppers. I like
peppers.
I like breakfast for dinner.
Oh, I
Love that.
I
Love
that.
breakfast
Love
for
that.
dinner.
Big
That was
fan.
in my top 3. Just
Love
got the
Big
bump.
fan.
I love scrambled eggs with syrup on them. Like
Yes.
Wow.
All right. So
Syrup
ready?
on
This
eggs?
is a move.
I do like
You
With
take
the
a,
French
you take a, you
toast?
take. So I'd take a pancake,
Yes.
put some scrambled eggs in that,
Yes.
put like some turkey sausage or something in there.
Making a pancake taco
syrup on.
here?
Exactly. It's a pancake taco. Put some syrup on top,
Is it a protein
Wow.
pancake?
preferably.
Yeah.
A little Kodiak cake, something like that.
I'll do a protein pancake
Yeah.
with eggs.
So breakfast,
Oh, yeah.
and then my third would be eggplant parmesan because that's what I think
Nice.
I think I could do mass production of.
You make
the
an eggplant
Narducci.
pub? Wow.
My eggplant and meatballs.
No,
when
I
eat
knew
them.
she was gonna say meatballs. We're having a meatball. We're having
No,
a
no, I'm
meatball.
saying
off.
meatballs.
When are you having a
when I eat-
meatball off?
Yeah. Where's our
How
invite?
do I get
Well, we
invited
need
to the
you to
meatball off?
taste it. We do need.
We do need people
Oh.
to taste. If you're in town, we're doing a meatball off.
This
Me,
week?
her, and Gianna Palmenteri.
When is this happening?
I don't know. Maybe
Tomorrow?
next month.
No,
Yeah.
I'll fly up.
Yeah, we're gonna need good people
We're
that
gonna
love
need- yeah.
food.
All right. Because
And
that's
then-
in my top 3 is I go with
Meatballs?
my mom's and I specifically say my mother's chicken cutlets and meatballs. She made that for
Yeah.
my birthday. So good.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Wow.
Yeah. That's my
And what are your?
My other 2, I just got into Indian food. And this might sound a little crazy, but I like it's this dish at this place in Florida. It's called goat curry. So it's goat.
You lost me.
I knew I was gonna. I
You
knew
lost
no
me
one-
on the
no one-
goat and the curry.
If you try, curries, they make it like it's like sweet and like spicy. Like it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And then I go with a burger. I go with a bison burger, with some bison meat in there,
I like bison.
sweet potato fries on the side.
And I shut my mouth.
Well, let's hear it.
What? Sweet potato? Anyway.
You 3.
My 3? I go, number 1 for me is always going to be chicken parm. Preferably, I think, from Carmine's. If this table was chicken parm, I'd eat my way through it.
We
Easy
believe
peasy.
you. Continue.
Easy peasy. Number 2 on the list, I'm going to go with Chinese food.
I like it. See, this is why I like that we
I like
continue
Chinese
these.
food, yeah.
Because that's a change to your normal
I like
top
Chinese
3.
food.
All right.
I just had some mushu and an egg roll. Now the Chinese food down in Florida is not good. Chinese food up here is through the roof, but the Indian food up here not good. Indian food down here through the roof. I don't know.
Give Indian a try, guys. I know it's a little intimidating.
I've had
It's a-
Indian.
I love it.
I've had it.
You have? Not you?
I've made it.
What do you make?
Butter chicken.
I'd make curry stew,
Really?
Nice.
but not with meat. I don't really eat meat. I don't eat red meat, so
Really?
I used to. I eat red meat once a year. Like I'll have meatballs when we do the meatball cook.
And we
carpaccio?
split a burger every time she's
Nice.
having her red meat for the year.
Yeah.
It's usually with me, and we split the burger.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like
burger.
that.
I like to split it. But what about 3 top movies?
Moonstruck.
What else?
Moonstruck was the first time I ever saw people that like looked or sounded like me and my family on TV. So
Really?
that was like my all-time Moonstruck.
Have you ever seen the Eddie Murphy bit about Rocky? Talking about you got to see it. Talking about the Italians.
Of
And I
course
like
you saw
how
it.
Yeah.
Raw.
Exactly,
and
raw.
raw.
You know, Rocky got white people thinking crazy. Like, oh, you must see Rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Give me some juju. Give me some goobers. Go ahead.
I mean, there's so many movies that I think are
Juju
great
beans.
movies.
Juju beans.
But movies that I get sentimental with.
Rocco.
Hey, Rocco!
Rocco.
Hey, Rocco!
Rocco.
Oh, hey!
Go ahead.
Moonstruck. I watched Fatso the other day, which was like an old time.
Get out.
I love those. I guess. I mean, I love so many.
Oh, you saw
movies,
G Special?
But I think.
Get out.
I think like the My Cousin Vinny's and the movies I can watch all the time that
My
they're
Co-
on and I can leave them on. Like I think there are so many epic films.
Yeah.
Like how could I be like, My Cousin Vinny's my favorite.
Sure.
But movies that I just will keep on all the
Yeah.
time are those The Godfathers, The Goodfellas, the My Cousin
doubt.
Vinny's, the Moonstrucks, the Fatsos. It's a different level of like connection.
And with all due respect, to
not
both
because I'm
of you,
Italian,
you're
even
both,
just,
absolutely gorgeous women. Forget, but I've never seen anything look like Marissa Tomei
In My Cousin Vinny.
My God, as a kid, I was like,
Bling.
I'm not gay.
So I think those movies for me, they bring, and maybe there were movies on in my house all the time. It was my first introduction to Italians on TV as a little girl in the Bronx who wanted to perform and be on stage and do all this. I gravitate towards films that I could emulate.
Okay, cool,
For
interesting.
me.
Interesting. And you?
What about you, Narducci?
For me, it's a film nobody in this room has seen.
Cinema
You
Paradiso.
just told me about it, right?
Called Wild as the Wind. It's with Anthony Quinn and Adam Mignani. To me, it's amazing. It's A Wonderful Life is number 2. And I love... It's another movie not a lot of people have seen, but it's personal to me. It had an impact on me, which was when Peggy Sue got married. She goes back in time and sees all the people that died, but she's her age she is now, but goes back as a young girl.
Interesting.
But she's herself now looking at her mother, her grandmother and her mother, they're all dead.
Wow.
But not all of them, but a lot of people when she goes back.
Do you think there's a heaven?
I don't know about an actual heaven where people are floating around on clouds. I don't know what heaven is, but I think that there's something bigger than us that we can't even fathom that happens after we die because you don't come back. But I think that there's another something that happens. And I don't know if it's reincarnation. Maybe we do come back because I've had so many times in my life where I felt like I've been in certain places or places that I've never been to. I feel like there's a calling for me, or I do believe in reincarnation, coming back as something else, or reliving. As you could come back as an animal. Or something. I do believe in that, but I believe that there is something, not a heaven, an actual heaven where God comes in gates. It's no hardware. I think that it's a place you do go. I think that's what I want to believe. It's something, isn't it funny though, after we die, that's something, it's all up to us what we think it is. It's heaven is what you think it is, because who's going to tell you, oh no, it's exactly this.
Yeah.
No one's been and came back.
No. And not even the Bible really.
So anyone who could tell you, like, this happens for sure is, like, kind of full of shit. Because, like, you know what I mean? How you know?
Well, people, the only stories they come back with is that they saw the light, they went through a tunnel.
Right. I've heard
Although-
those. I've heard the similarities in those, like the.
Yeah.
Well, The Sopranos also they delved into that as well. I mean, that was a big.
Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah, that was a well. We agree Tony died at the end. Yeah.
No.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Never.
You don't think Tony died?
No.
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 Is that a wishful thinking or?
I just don't believe he died.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't believe it at first.
Even though the very first scene of Many Saints of Newark, the very next thing David Chase put on screen after going to black was a cemetery.
Yeah. I don't believe it.
Interesting. What about you?
What?
She's got to
Do I
rewatch
think
it.
he died? Or
She's got to rewatch it.
She got to rewatch.
By the way, none of us knew what the ending was. There was 3 endings, and none of
they
us
kept
knew.
it secret,
We all
right?
thought our cable went out, even us actors.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Wait, can
I
you
was
say what
calling
the other
Vinny
endings were?
Pastor. He was in Florida, I think, with Johnny V. I was like, what? What? They were like, us too. We did
Johnny
not
V's
know what
Artie
happened.
Bucco for those non-super
Yeah,
fans.
I didn't assume. I didn't assume that he died.
What?
Really?
Johnny
Johnny
Ventimiglia's Artie Bucco.
And you were on Talking Sopranos, correct?
What's
with
No, the-
Michael Imperioli and
Yeah, of
Steve
course I
Sherpa.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I watched all of those.
Those,
Yeah, of
those
course.
stories were fantastic. I mean, it sounds like you guys had a
What were the
blast
3
on set,
endings
too.
that you got?
I forgot what they were. No, we didn't get the 3 endings. Actually, they wrote 3 endings,
Okay.
and nobody ever knew. It was
So
like David
they
Chase.
filmed 3 endings
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
They knew it was
they
gonna
didn't
leak,
Film
and
3
then-
endings. They had 3 different endings, I think, in mind, and that's what it went with. I thought that was the best ending because everybody, like Heaven, can make it their own.
yeah.
And that was the best thing. Everybody talked about it for years and years and years. What happened? I thought it was great. I thought it was a good conversation piece. It was really good.
People still talking about it however
Still
many years
talking
later.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, still
Yeah.
talking about it.
Ladies,
Yeah, let's let these beautiful, talented ladies get out of here and miss some traffic.
Yeah, tell our audience where they can find you and give them a follow and support them in their future endeavors, man. These are 2 incredible people. Thank you so much for your time today. Tara, where can people find you?
Tara Jokes. It's easier than Cannistraci. Find me everywhere at Tara Jokes.
Tara Jokes.
Yeah, you have a great Instagram.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Catherine?
Just Kathrine Narducci on Instagram.
Awesome.
Narducci.
And it's Kathrine.
No.
Kathrine, no E.
Don't
before
follow the
R.
fake ones.
Yeah,
And
the
if you see them,
fake one.
report them.
Yeah,
Yep.
report them.
And check them out on the great, the legend, big friend of the program, Chaz Palminteri's podcast. They're on there all the time. Some of the best parts of them are theirs. So, for the great Mickey Gall, for all the great people with us, Omri probably left somewhere.
What's his name?
Don't make it. Landscaper? I don't know. What was it again? Jose?
Jorge.
Jorge? Sorry, man.
Even I know.
I knew it's a bit. So the
Matt Rife would have done it better.
and with that, we will see you on Monday. Peace.
God.
Great stuff.
Thank